Sports in the city. Sports in the city. We keeping it gritty with that sports in the city. Welcome to Sports in the City, live from the arena, from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the North to the South. There's a sports in the city. Wherever you're tuning in from, thanks for tuning in. Hit up that chat, get at us, hit that like, share, and subscribe on Facebook, that YouTube live. I'm your sports G, Reed Richards, along with my partner in crime, BK Ty.
Salute, salute. Shouts out to the sports world out there. Salute to the 757. Salute to the 718.
Definitely, man. We're back in Sports in the City, live from the arena, my G. What's the deal, bro?
I'm good, Famo. Another week, man. You know, we getting closer and closer to that sports equinox, you know, where you have all four major sports going on at once. It's a very short window in the sports world, but I'm still looking forward to it. I'm actually glad football season is in full swing. Baseball season playoffs are in full swing right now. That's the most exciting time for MLB to me anyway. Right. And you definitely got hockey and NBA getting ready to kick off. So sports is about to be in full swing very shortly.
All right, so let's get to it. Strictly top shelf. We got the helmet-to-helmet NFL game of the week, the 49ers versus the Cowboys. We got round ball around the world, WNBA finals, Aces versus the Liberty. Live from the Diamond, we got the AL and NL playoff rundown. And jumping out the gym, we got the GOAT, Simone Biles, leading the U.S. to the 7th straight world championship. Off the top of the pile, NFL helmet to helmet. The Niners versus the Boys was the game of the week, Ty. You already know that. The 49ers demolished, destroyed, and totally defeated my Dallas Cowboys. We had to eat that L 42-10, man. It was a massacre. The 49ers multi-headed monster decimated the Cowboys like Godzilla, boy.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the game of the week, but
yeah. Hold
like
on,
I told you,
it ain't done yet. Godzilla, man. They I need the full effect of that. Logic. I need the full effect of that. That's how the 49ers did it with my D.
Yeah.
It was terrible, man. You saw the game, man.
Pretty much the 49ers have a complete squad, top to bottom, offense, defense. The crazy part about it is not only is there undrafted QB, one of the bright spots of the season, definitely a strong suit for them with his very mature decision making at such a young age in the league, but I think a legitimate MVP candidate. Well, probably would be a legit MVP candidate if it wasn't for Christian McCaffrey, who's just the all-world running back right now, and at this moment right now, probably the best player in the league. I think if they continue on this path that they're going, this could be the first team. I think this would probably be the first team to have two MVP candidates in the same season since your boys did it back with Emmett and Troy Aikman. I think one year they were both in the MVP running, but I think this will be the first time you'll have two players, especially on the offense, both in the running for MVP, because Brock Purdy is looking pretty strong, man. 252 yards, 4 touchdowns, a career best 144.4 passer rating. Just one of the facets that made your guys look. I don't even know the word for it.
Pedestrian.
Pedestrian is a great word.
At best. So, to your point, man, as we're looking at the highlights, the 49ers, I have to first give it up to the head coach of the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan is definitely an offensive genius, and he has his team clicking on all cylinders, my G. They you know what it was like when I was watching the game, man? Like Kyle Shanahan was playing Madden and just killing. It's like he was playing a
playing
video
Madden
game,
on rookie mode.
Right, bro. He was just killing, bro. They had no answer. And the thing that really bothered me about this game was that the Cowboys lacked the physicality that the 49ers had. And the Cowboys is supposed to be a very quick and physical team. And they did make some plays, but I have to kind of go back to this, that the loss of Trayvon Diggs is really changing up their whole scheme of how they're playing defense right now, and they're being exposed, as Virginia Slim mentioned last week. They're being exposed, and you can't have that. Like at the end of the day, like it's looking like the two teams to beat in the East are going to be the Eagles and the 49ers. I say the 49ers right now, and the Eagles until they become meeting, until they get beat. I mean, as far as the whole NFL, the 49ers and the Eagles keep finding ways to win. But to the 49ers, they are just playing so crisp and on another level. It is very difficult to combat these plays. And then
I think unlike any team in the league right now, the 49ers is the one team that you look at. And I mean, as of this moment, you say, where's their weakness? Where can we exploit them? And
there's no weakness.
They're just that good on both sides of the ball. I said previously that I think Dak had the most to gain or lose from this game, and pretty much,
he lost me.
Yeah, he didn't take advantage of his opportunity to really silence critics about his QB play.
He lost me, bro.
He didn't rise above the occasion, and the fact that the offense didn't get in the red zone, you can say it's a testament to San Francisco's defense, but also to this point with the postseason expectations that a lot of people had, not just Dallas fans, but a lot of people in football period that they had, and the hopes that I think a lot of people had hopes that Dak Prescott could finally rise above the criticisms that had plagued him for his whole career. And pretty much, I forgot who it was that said it, but he is who he is. It's I mean, it doesn't help, like I said, that they ran into a juggernaut like San Francisco. This is actually their 15th straight regular season win, which is phenomenal. A well-oiled machine. And this was actually I think another way to look at it is this is probably the hardest test that Dallas will face this season. No way to go but up right now for them. To reclaim your status. I still have Dallas as one of the top 3 teams in the league right now. I was teetering between, so I have San Francisco and Philly, of course, and I was teetering between Seattle and Dallas. But
in the NFC,
I'm in the NFC. I'm still going to go Dallas as that 3rd team in the top 3, just because their defense. I don't think there's another team in the league that will have their defense looking as bad as they look against San Francisco.
Bro, to be honest with you, I think it's debatable at this point because of the poor showing that the Dallas Cowboys made. And then when we said that the loss against Arizona was an aberration, like just a blip in the season, I can't really say that now because of the way that they lost to the 49ers. I would have to say that I did not expect them to win this game because just the way that the 49ers were playing. But I would have to say that I expected them to at least show up and make the game competitive. By halftime, I was ready to tap out at halftime, bro. And
we talked about that. Go ahead.
tap out by halftime, that's a problem. That's a
Absolutely.
major problem.
We talked about this last week as well. We said that San Francisco is still the favorite, but Dallas
Right.
has to have a good showing. I didn't think Dallas was going to win this game, but I didn't think they were going to get, for the way they've been playing this season, I didn't think they were going to get blown out the water the way they did.
It was just an embarrassment to the organization, and it was definitely an indictment on Dak Prescott, because I would have to say that I don't have confidence in Dak anymore whatsoever, to be honest with you. And I really mean that sincerely. Like, you don't want to have an NFL quarterback who's only going to take you but so far. And I
Welcome
don't
to
think
my
Dak,
world.
and I don't think Dak,
Uh,
well, we not in the same category as the Giants. I'm not going to say that, but I will just say this. When you are playing to win a Super Bowl, as your man Herm Edwards said long time ago, you play to win the games. You don't play to um, come in second, third, fourth, or fifth. And Dak, like, come on, he made Dak look very silly. And Brock Purdy, he was the last pick in his draft, the 256th pick in his draft class. And he is playing like he's reminding me of how Joe Montana used to run Bill Walsh's offensive West Coast offense. And I can't find any mistakes in his game right now. To your point that you made a week or two ago, and I was like, it might have been too early to call. But now, after seeing him continue to play and progress throughout the season, and the way that he picked apart the Dallas Cowboys defense, who's supposed to be top 5, I have to give Brock Purdy his props. The boy is balling out of control. And Jerry Jones's comments did not help the situation at all.
you know,
Saying,
I always say that. I mean, the saying is football, basketball, baseball, whatever. They're team sports.
right,
So I think had Brock Purdy been playing behind the Giants O line, it would probably be a different story. If he was the Giants QB instead of Daniel Jones, I don't know that he'd look as good as he looks. I definitely don't think he'd look as bad as Daniel Jones has looked, because
right.
one of the things I admire most about Brock Purdy, man, is a lot of these passes that he got. I mean, it wasn't even 2 seconds. Snap the ball, one step, and quick, precise passes, which is the one knock that we have on Daniel Jones. He's a poor decision maker. I think he's a substandard passer.
Whoa, we're going to get to the Giants. We're going to get to the Giants.
Yeah,
I know
but
you
but
got a
but
lot to vent about the Giants, but let's finish this Cowboys and 49ers before we jump to the Giants, because
I got one
we're
more
going to
one more
touch on
point.
them.
One more
Yeah,
point to your point about Dak Prescott. Yeah, Dak is probably not as great as some would think he'll eventually become, but
bro.
you guys only had 57 rushing yards that game.
Bro.
Is
We
that a
held
product of
McCaffrey.
is
We
that a
held McCaffrey to 56. So you're going to have two stellar defenses. So I just think that the Cowboys are just not as good as a team as the 49ers. And Jerry Jones did not help the situation. He said they're right now probably the most likely to go win the Super Bowl. Thanks a lot, Jerry. That's a boost of confidence. But in order for them to get there, they have to go by us. Well, they didn't just go by us. They ran over us. They ran around us. They ran on top of us. They ran all through the whole Cowboys. So I don't know if Jerry Jones was trying to play a mind game, but it definitely backfired. But
I don't know that it back if it was something that he said before the game,
he
then
did.
yeah, it absolutely
He did.
backfired. But
He
if it
said
was
it
something he
before the
said
game.
after the game, that
Yeah.
might be good motivation for guys to get back
Nah,
on
he said
track.
it before the game. He couldn't keep his mouth shut. He couldn't keep his trap shut, man. So that was the 12th worst loss in Cowboys history.
Mm.
That was the worst loss since 2013, when the Cowboys lost to the New Orleans Saints 17-49. That's just to let you know. The most points that's ever been scored on the Cowboys was 54 by the Minnesota Vikings. And that was back in the 70s before you and I we were probably just babies back then. So just to let you know how bad of a loss that is, bro. That was not a good loss that was not, as you say, a hard pill to swallow, man. That was like castor oil, bro. You know, so
sure.
But definitely,
like I said,
what else
we've been on the
going
receiving
around
end
the
of one of
league?
those too, a couple of those. So I
Yeah.
definitely know how you feel, bro.
Yeah, man. So rounding out the rest of the weekend of NFL helmet to helmet, your man Justin Fields had another 4-touchdown game, and he led the Bears to a 40-20 victory over the Commanders, who are losing momentum and having some coaching issues. Juan Rivera is making a lot of mistakes nowadays, and there's talks that he's getting a pass because he used to play on that 85 Bears team, because he's not really doing a great job of coaching the Bears. But I'm glad to see Justin Fields have another great day. This is second straight week throwing 4 touchdowns. So I'm glad to see the youngster come around, because I don't like to see black quarterbacks struggle, because then the first thing that they bring up is, oh, they can't pass the litmus test. They can't make reads. They're not as intelligent. And I don't want to hear about all of that when you're talking about a black quarterback, because when it's a white quarterback, that's not the points that they bring up. They bring up every other point besides their intelligence. So yeah. I'm glad for Justin Fields.
Unfortunately, there's definitely an all too high, not even invisible double standard in the NFL as it relates to coaching.
You think it's invisible?
No, I said anything but invisible.
Oh, okay.
It's a highly visible, you know, like one of the worst kept secrets, so to speak, that there's definitely a double standard in the NFL as it relates to quarterbacks and head coaches. You know, hopefully that stigma I don't think it'll ever go away, but it'll really just take somebody experiencing a great deal of success to kind of lessen the sting of that reality, shall we say. And Eric Bieniemy is actually in a pretty good position right now in that regard, because if they decide to get rid of Rivera because of underperformance by Washington, Bieniemy is already lined up to step right in. I'd find it hard for Washington to deny Bieniemy yet another opportunity for a head coaching position.
Remember, Daniel Snyder used to be the owner of the Redskins. Mm-hmm. I don't see them changing that culture overnight so quickly over there in DC, but I will say that
they do have new ownership, so everything is about to change, or is slowly changing. The name, the ownership, and remember, they have a minority owner as a minority owner now. So Magic Johnson has to have some kind of influence, I think. Maybe not a major influence, but some type of input in those type of decisions.
Hopefully, man, but you know, it's yet to be seen. Rounding out the rest of the scores of the games this past weekend, the Jaguars put it to the Bills 25-20 over there in London. The Falcons eked out a squeaker 21-19 versus the Texans. The Lions showed that they're a real deal, 42-24 over the Panthers. Even though the Panthers have not won a game this year, the Lions handled their business. The Colts put it on the Titans 23-16. The Titans are kind of weak this year also. The Dolphins put it on your Giants 31-16. We'll circle back and talk about that. The Saints, they blanked the Patriots 34-0. We got to talk about Bill Belichick, because he lost his mojo since Tom Brady has left him, you know, since that sports divorce has taken place. The Steelers found another way to win 17-10 over the Ravens, who you had in your top 5 last week. And the Eagles found another way to win 23-14 over the Rams. The Bengals bounced back Joe Burrow showed that he's still that dude, 34-20 over the Cardinals. The Jets, Zach Wilson, 31-21 over the Broncos in the Sean Payton versus Hackett Bowl. And the Chiefs handled their business against the Vikings 27-20.
Ooh, and they I think they were gifted. They were gifted that opportunity, man.
And Jordan Love threw 3 interceptions as the Raiders
back down to earth
beat them up 17-13. That was a very physical game. Any game. Let's talk about your Giants, because I saw you was yearning like the Gap Band to talk about the Giants. So go ahead, bro. Let us hear it.
I don't recall me being so thirsty to talk about the Giants. There's really nothing to say about these guys. You absolutely have to take into account the poor offensive line play poor offensive line play and poor tackling, unfortunately, are two things that have become synonymous with the New York Giants, and it's very disparaging. But Daniel Jones hasn't inspired confidence in anybody, and I won't say I was a Daniel Jones apologist, but I was definitely one of his biggest supporters, especially after last season when he looked like he was kind of coming around, but now it looks like he's regressed. Because, I mean, I know the offensive line is garbage, but to my point about Brock Purdy making quick decisions with the ball, that's what Daniel Jones has to do. And sometimes he gets laser focused on one receiver and doesn't even look in any other direction until it's too late. We know the offensive line.
Who's he looking at, though?
I don't know.
He's not hitting anybody. But the offensive line is so porous, he doesn't even have enough time to make any reads. He barely gets 2 or 3. He barely gets 2 or 3 read progression.
But you want to know something? You know how you slow down the offensive line, the defensive line's effectiveness? The same way Brock Purdy did, man. Quick passes, quick decisions, get out of the pocket or step up into the pocket past the Russian defense. They held your boy Micah Parsons without a quarterback pressure the whole game, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely without a sack. So, there's ways to combat.
But I don't think the Giants have the offensive line. It's easier said than done. The Giants don't have the offensive line to play out that game plan, because they had a stat this week that the Giants give Daniel Jones less than 2.4 seconds to release the ball. That's no time for him to throw the ball. Let's count to 2.4 seconds. 1, 2. You got somebody on you in that amount of time. I don't think he has time to try to run any offense. You really seriously think he has time to run an offense in that amount of time, bro?
I do, if you make better decisions. Like I said,
bro, I can't. I have to disagree with that.
We understand how
Didn't
bad
he
the
get
offensive
broke
line
up this
is.
week?
Absolutely. He got injured. We understand the offensive line is bad,
bro.
But
he's on pace to get sacked 102 times this year, bro. 102 times. You're not protecting your quarterback.
But your quarterback has to be smarter with the ball as well. There are plays where the line is breaking down and you see the pocket collapsing. Step up. Get past the rushes. Get past the rushes. He never steps up.
They on your boy. Go look at the footage again, bro. They on him.
Are you telling me to look at footage of it? You're telling me to look at footage of a Giants game?
You're blaming Daniel Jones. What? Bro, just because you're a Giants fan,
I'm blaming the offensive line. I'm blaming lack of tackling by the defense, and I'm blaming poor decision making by Daniel Jones. I'm not saying everything is because of Daniel Jones, but I mentioned the tackling in the offensive line before I got to Daniel Jones.
All right, so let me just say this. As someone who's watching the game, even though I'm not a Giants fan, I can still look and see what's wrong with the Giants. And the first thing is that I don't care if it's Daniel Jones. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If they have no time in the pocket, you mentioned Brock Purdy. If you look at the game with the Cowboys, Brock Purdy had time to throw the ball. They had time to run trick plays. You can't compare Brock Purdy and the protection that he's getting to the protection that Daniel Jones is receiving from the Giants. You can't do that, bro. That's unfair. And that's your boy. I'm just telling you how I see it, bro. And it's a fact that he's getting no time.
And how I see it is, if you're not making quicker decisions, you're putting your offensive line under more pressure. We started the season 1-4 last year. We made it to the playoffs. What did we win? 9-10 games last year?
That was last year, bro.
The same offensive. As a matter of fact, our offensive line got better. It got on paper supposedly got better than.
You have some people out on the offensive line of the Giants.
We do. And it's definitely the loss of Saquon right now.
Well, but that's the big part to it, because you have who you was talking about was going to take Saquon's place. And I was like, who?
Matt Breida.
Who?
Matt Breida.
I'm not even a big Daniel Jones fan, but any quarterback, whether they're on the Giants, the 49ers, they need protection, bro. And counting the two and asking someone to run an offense in 2.5 seconds on every snap, when you got 250, 300-pound linemen and linebackers coming at you, and you got cornerbacks blitzing you, safeties blitzing you, then they knocked him out the game.
Yep.
What's the injury report on that?
Something with his neck, from what I understand, and it's
right.
I won't say it's a reoccurring injury, but it's something that he injured previously last season. I think not last season, season before that.
All right, so we're gonna get an update on Daniel Jones. Hopefully, he can come back and play in the upcoming game. We're gonna move on from the Giants because I know that's something near and dear to your heart. So the Jets have hope. Do the Jets stick with Zach Wilson? Does A-Rod make an impossible comeback?
A-Rod is playing himself and insulting NFL fans, talking about coming back this season from an Achilles injury.
It's an insult
at 39 years old. It's not realistic, man. That's like you and your kid don't live with you, and you promise your kid, hey, I'm gonna come pick you up this weekend, and we're gonna go do whatever, what have you. And you have the kid waiting for you over the weekend and you never show up. That's a promise that he can't keep, man. I'm sorry. Number one, I don't think there's any.
He can come back. Because
you know what?
Comparing it to a deadbeat dad not showing up for their kid, because at the end of the day, he is using some psychology, and we don't know what his recovery, because he said he was walking in a shoe in 10 days. So you and I can't really determine as far as him playing for the remainder of the season, being out for the remainder of the season.
But from
it's yet to be seen, it's highly improbable. I'll just say that. But I think he's trying to give the Giants hope so that the fan base could still stay interested. And look, Zach Wilson's play is improving. So it might be working, because now they're actually have a possibility of making the playoffs.
I don't know about making the playoffs. Definitely not with Zach Wilson. But one thing that I did hear that was mentioned is Minnesota throwing in the towel, and especially with Jefferson recently hurt. Actually, even before he got hurt, I heard whispers about Kirk Cousins being on the market and the Jets potentially. And this was actually before Zach Wilson had his. I don't know if you want to call it a resurgence, but once he started playing better, I think the talk sort of died down and was replaced by, is Zach Wilson a viable option to carry the Jets through the season? With the defense that they have now and everything else in play, it stands to reason that they should go out and get an effective QB, somebody that can play now, somebody that can get them somewhere. So to your point, if by some miracle Aaron Rodgers is able to come back,
Virginia Slim, you know what? That the only thing I have with that is no man can determine and tell you what you can do in this world. That's the thing. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen definitively, but I say it's a possibility, because he's on a different path. So Virginia Slim, what you got on that? what's the odds of Rodgers coming back and playing one game? If they make the playoffs, he's coming back because they're 2-3 right now. They're only 2 games back out of first place. Miami shows that they can be beat. Now that Zach Wilson is playing a little better and he's making better reads and he's making better passes and the offense has more continuity, they're 2-3. The Dolphins are 4-1 and Buffalo's 3-2. Have the Jets played the Dolphins this year yet? They haven't yet. So I still give it a possibility. Maybe I'm just hopeful, man, that A-Rod comes back for those Jet fans so that he can at least try to show up for at least one game, man. One game. Moving back to your Giants, though. Your man Evan Neal gets thrown into the orphanage, man. And he looks like he hasn't missed any hot dogs or hamburgers. He apologizes to the Giant fans for saying that what is it for a lion to take the advice of a sheep? What do they probably do? Flip frankfurters or hot dogs or hamburgers for a living? And then he backtracked and apologized. Do you accept his apology as a Giants fan?
I mean, son is young, and young people say and do stupid things. In the grand scheme of things, this is not something that anybody will even.
Do you forgive him, bro? Are you feeling him right now, bro?
I don't. I mean, I don't have a problem. I put it this way: he should have apologized the same way he put out the initial statement.
You said A-Rod was insulting the Jets fan base by saying he could possibly come back.
Yeah, you blowing that's pipe dreams. You blowing smoke up their ass. Aaron Rodgers is not coming back and playing any effective football for the Jets this season.
On the show? You gonna put on the Jets jersey if he comes back?
You act like that's killing me.
Put on the Jets jersey?
I mean, whatever. Because there's, like I said, there's no way. Even if he does suit up, there's no way Aaron Rodgers plays any effective football for the New York Jets this season at all. And as far as Evan Neal is concerned, it was a stupid comment that he made. He was caught up in the moment. It was a jerky thing to do.
He didn't insult the Giants fan base? That was insulting?
It was a stupid thing he said and a stupid thing he did. But you know, as an athlete, you can't insult the fan base. Period. Right. Unless the fan base disrespects your family or crosses the line, I can see that. But you're disrespecting people who are letting you know that you're performing poorly and you're throwing money in their face. That was a very assholey thing to do. But again, like I said, I chalk it up to age and
you're such a forgiving dude, man. You forgive everybody, man.
I'm just saying, it's nothing to be all bent out of shape about. You know what I'm saying?
That's your man's on your team calling your fan base hamburger flippers and hot dog flippers.
Yeah.
You still ride with him. Right.
Yeah.
That's where your loyalty is.
Absolutely.
That's your allegiance.
Like I said, I'm not condoning what he did. I don't approve of what he did. But it's water under the bridge. I ain't worried about it.
It was just last week.
It's water under the bridge. It's something small.
You know your man is out now, right?
And he apologized.
Karma's a bitch. He's injured now.
Who's that?
Your man Neal. He's out.
Oh.
He's out. Oh, well, he's hurt now. He's injured.
He wasn't doing nothing this season anyway, so.
Karma's a bitch.
He won't be missed.
That shit, and now he's out of there. But moving along on the helmet to helmet, who would you want to see in a box of an NFL game? Right? Because to your point last week about all the hype of Taylor Swift, and Beyonce was dating or was married to a hip-hop mogul and a minority owner of the Nets at the time, which is valid. I just think that the NFL does not know how to handle that type of situation because when you've seen it for years, the LA Lakers in Hollywood, they have an A-list of celebrities and not for the whole game, you panning on one person. It's still about the game. And I think that was for promotions. And I think the one who benefited from it the most was Travis Kelce. I think he might be I don't even think, to be honest, that he's really dealing with Taylor Swift. I think that's, like you said last week, helping to promote her upcoming albums and concerts. And Travis Kelce's rocket jersey sales rocketed last couple weeks, went up 400%. The NFL doesn't need Taylor Swift. They're a $15 billion plus industry. So I think it's Travis Kelce that's creating this. I don't even think he deals with it, to be honest with you.
The NFL doesn't need it, but they absolutely welcome it. You know how many casual fans that don't even follow sports? That game was sold out, and it wasn't sold out because New York Jets fans are
okay. So she was at the game this week.
Absolutely. I mean, they were talking about it.
She was at the game this week.
She was at the game.
When?
She was at the game. They were talking about it.
The game this week.
They were talking about it. They were saying people were buying. Matter of fact, she was at the game. They showed her walking in with, I think it was Ryan Reynolds and some other actor, Hugh Jackman or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And she's absolutely helping.
So she's going to be at every game this week.
I mean, she may or may not be, but, you know, true sports fans aren't, you know, I guess maybe sports fans that are also Taylor Swift fans, it's like a nice thrill or whatever. But for real, the end of the day, being a sports fan that I am, there is no celebrity that, you know, I got to get to the arena today because I don't know, Denzel Washington or Black Thought or somebody is at the football game. I might run into. Nah, man. You know,
so you think that Taylor Swift has surpassed Beyonce and the Beehive?
What do you mean surpass? These are two totally different fan bases. So
popularity. Well, we know they're two different fan bases, but you think that she's more popular than Beyonce right now?
Taylor Swift? Absolutely.
Really? Okay, we got
absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna have to look.
I don't want to make this. I don't want to make this a racial thing, but it's a racial thing, brother.
I don't know, man.
We are minorities, brother.
All right, time out. Enough Taylor Swift talk, man. Let's just take a moment to pause for the cause and big up an all-time NFL legend, R.I.P. to Dick Butkus, who was a prototype NFL linebacker. Yeah, man, big up. Dick Butkus passes away at the age of 80. NFL linebacker, top 100 players of all time, NFL Hall of Famer. Do we have that footage where you see Dick Butkus in action? Because words can't really describe when he was on the football field, how he would put the fear of God into NFL running backs, quarterbacks, and wide receivers, the offensive linemen. It's just crazy. Just crazy. Those are some of the all-time greats. And he is definitely in the NFL films. Started playing back in like the 1950s, late 50s. Played for 9 seasons. Made 8 Pro Bowls. And when you talk about an NFL linebacker, before Lawrence Taylor, Dick Butkus was the prototype. If you wanted to make an NFL linebacker, Dick Butkus was the person that they would use to show other players how to be.
Top 5 linebacker.
He's not even going. He's just going straight for the ball. He's throwing whoever's blocking him off, and he's just going for the ball. And when he hits you, you knew that he was there.
He's a savage that played in savage times, man. The rules have changed a lot to how
those are all clean hits, bro.
To how you can tackle people, and well, they were clean hits, but a lot of ways they were dragging people down and sometimes leading with the crown and stuff like that. They have rules now that.
Well, I don't think it's about that right now, bro. I think it's just the way that he played defined the position because he played by the rules. He didn't,
right.
Go
like
against
I said,
the rules.
I think it was a more savage game back then.
The majority, because they're gonna put a different product on the field, but dude was as tough as nails, man. Tough as nails, man. But off the field, he was very humble. He was a gentle giant, like a big teddy bear was how he was described. Big up to Dick Butkus, one of the top 100 players.
Where do you put him all time for linebackers? Or who do you have in front of him?
Lawrence Taylor. I would say Lawrence Taylor is hands down the greatest linebacker to ever play.
Agreed.
Possibly Ray Lewis. From there, it's debatable from there, to be honest with you. Outside of Lawrence Taylor and Ray Lewis, I think it's debatable as far as like linebackers that are better or have more of an impact on the game than Dick Butkus. But, RIP, salute. He'll go down in Bears history. He played on a lot of bad teams, though. Moving along. Round ball, round the world. The Aces bounced the Liberty out of the arena 99-82. Will the Aces bounce the Liberty in this series, or will the Liberty bounce back?
It's not looking good for New York. They look frustrated, especially in that second half. They looked all right in that first half, but then got unraveled. Definitely taken out of their game. No presence on the inside, and then they're not hitting their shots. I think if shots are falling, it's a whole different ball game. But the Aces just show a different kind of resiliency. And to your point last week, I think Aja Wilson is on a mission to kind of get some type of revenge for how low she fell in the MVP voting this year.
I definitely think that she's playing with a chip on her shoulder. But to be honest with you, she was like the fourth leading scorer in that game. Yeah. The whole Aces squad showed up.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a tough road for the Liberty. Like, forget what you did during the regular season. This is the postseason, and it's a whole different animal. So I think, it's looking right now, as tough as they played them in the first half of that game on the road and then came back and lost. I think they'll get a game at home, but I definitely think Las Vegas is gonna. I'm thinking a 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
Well, if the Aces continue to play the way that they played this past Sunday, Aja Wilson had 19 points on 7 of 11 shooting. Stokes played 22 minutes, but was just, pedestrian with her performance. Chelsea Gray dropped 20 for 6 of 13. Kelsey Plum dropped 26, and Young dropped 26. So they had a rounded attack.
Yeah.
Whereas the Liberty were kind of stagnated. Vandersloot only had 10, and they held Ionescu to 7 points. So they definitely have to pick that up, and they have to get their ball movement going.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, they got to get better guard play, man. They got to get more perimeter shots because they're not going to get nothing inside if they can't, make shots from the perimeter.
They shot 31% from 3-point range. So that was one of the strengths of the Liberty during the regular season and during the playoffs. So when they don't shoot well from 3-point land, they definitely have a hard time.
Live by the 3, die by the 3.
Yeah, that's definitely it. So you said they're going down 3-1?
I think so, man. I just think, man, how the Liberty played a great game that first half in that first game and, unraveled in the second half. I know the game was on the road and they'll probably do better at home, but the Aces are just as capable. I mean, I think if there's anybody that's capable of beating the Liberty at home, it's definitely Las Vegas. So
we'll see.
Especially
Gotta
after that
bounce
loss
back.
that they took against Connecticut at home. I'm like, come on, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, but the Aces are a different animal. I don't even
Right.
think
The Aces are not Connecticut. So
yeah, they're not Connecticut.
So like I said, the Liberty got their work cut out for them, man.
They have to even up the series 1-1 because if they go down 0-2, I don't see them coming back from that.
Yeah.
Moving along, live from the Diamond, the AL and NL playoff rundown. The AL and the NL wild card was on fire this past weekend. The underdogs looking to take the chalk out the mix. The Rangers, Twin Phillies, Diamondbacks move on to divisional round. And I think baseball is going to a youth movement. So just to run down the scores over the weekend, I know you're not the baseball dude like I am, but did you get a chance to check out any of the games?
I think I saw a little bit of the Baltimore game. That was about it, though. Not really any games that I see this weekend.
Yeah, Baltimore. Well, to your point last week with the chalk, the Rangers, they bounced the Tampa Bay Rays in 2 games. The Twins prevailed, and they won their first series in like 21 years, bro. So that's definitely going to be an interesting series because they're tied up 1-1 with the Houston Astros.
Yep.
Baltimore is down 1 game, and actually Philadelphia is 1-1 with Atlanta, and the Dodgers is down 0-2.
Dodgers
is down 2.
Yeah,
Baltimore's down 2. They're trying to even up the series tonight. And the Dodgers are down 2 games to none right now. Their first 2 starters have like a 40-point ERA, which no team is going to win with your pitcher having a 40-point ERA.
Right.
By any stretch of the imagination. But I wanted to get into that play where the Braves outfielder, Harris, he ran 90 feet to retrieve a ball that was hit to center field. And then he doubled up Bryce Harper to end the game yesterday, which allowed the Braves to tie the series up 1-1. If not, they'd be down probably 0-2.
Right.
Which, if that was the case, they are definitely going to be in trouble because the Phillies knocked them out last year, and the Phillies are looking to repeat again.
Yep.
Do we have that clip of Harris making that catch in center field and doubling up Bryce Harper? Let's see if we could pull that up. That was an amazing play. It was an 8-5-3 double play, and it definitely was something I never saw. I never saw that in baseball, where somebody in center field runs 90 feet. He reminded me of Ken Griffey Jr. when he caught that ball. And then from there, he was able to get the ball back into the infield. And then the third baseman was backing up the play and doubled up Bryce Harper at first base. But Bryce Harper should know better. Like when the ball is hit to the outfield, until you see the ball drop, you do not round second base. Like he was rounding second base and going towards third base when the ball was caught. So when someone is throwing a baseball, it's going to travel faster than you can run. So they're going to be able to get the ball back into the infield faster than you can round the bases and get back to first base. And they doubled him up. Here we go. Check this out. So here goes Harris making a play. Incredible.
Crazy.
Then he throws the ball back into the infield. The third baseman backs the play up and guns him out at first. Harper, what a boneheaded play, man. That was a little league error right there, a little league mistake. And that's what cost the Phillies the game. Now, I understand you're a superstar athlete, But come on, you can't make mistakes like that. That play right there could come back to cost them. If they lose this series by one game, we're gonna look back at this game. That was an incredible play. He ran 90 feet for that.
Definitely,
and he had the wherewithal to maintain his bearings. He don't pay attention to his base running coaches because he feel like he the man and he could do whatever. And he gets caught. He ended the game on that play. And the Braves have tied it up. So you still going with chalk?
Nah, man, you can't discount Philly. And I think that was a boneheaded play, but
this 1-1.
It's tied. Yeah, it's tied up. It's tied up.
1-1.
And when's the last time the team with the best record won the World Series, let alone went to it?
2018. And that was the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
That was the Boston Red Sox. So definitely something has to give. But that Red Sox team, they were stacked. They had Mookie Betts, JD Martinez. Mookie Betts was MVP candidate right there. He was a front runner, 32 home runs, 30 stolen bases. Martinez had 43 home runs, 130 RBIs. That was a monster. That was a monster team back then, bro. And then since 1969, only 12 teams have claimed baseball's best record and gone to win the World Series. The New York Yankees accomplished it 3 times, while the Red Sox and the Cincinnati Reds have done so twice. The Orioles did it in 1970. The Reds did it in 75. Also, they did it in 76, the Cincinnati Reds. The Yankees did it in 78. The Tigers in 1984. The New York Mets in 1986. The Oakland Athletics in 1989. The Yankees did it again in 1998, which I think was the greatest baseball team, the 1998 Yankees. 2007 was the Red Sox, and then 2009, the Yankees did it again. The Red Sox in 2016 to round off the 12 teams who accomplished that feat, right? So they definitely have their work cut out for them. Moving along, jumping out the gym, we have to give homage, man, to Simone Biles, man. Simone Biles is the GOAT, man.
Salute.
She is definitely the GOAT, man.
Salute. Greatest gymnast in
leading
history.
The U.S. to a 7th straight world championship. Biles became the most decorated gymnast in history, capturing her 34th medals, 21 of them which are gold, 27 in the world championships, and 7 in the Olympic Games. So she definitely now is far and beyond the greatest gymnast to ever live. And I hope that she participates in the 2024 Olympics, man.
I think she is. I'm pretty sure she is.
Yeah, bro. And the thing that amazes me with her is that she took 2 years off to recuperate from the time when she went through a mental block as a gymnast, which is called the twisties, meaning that you have it's kind of like a paranoia or a vertigo being up in the air and performing those feats. So for her to come back and then win again is like,
it's incredible.
Salute Simone Biles. Salute. I hope to see you in the 2024 Olympics. And the U.S. team won their 7th straight all-around team championship. So definitely big up to them as well. Definitely. It's crazy. Moving along to the NBA preseason. Did you start watching any of the NBA preseason games?
Yeah, I saw. Of course, I watched the Knicks game, which I guess is my way too early thoughts are how do we struggle against a Boston team that didn't play any of their starters in the game? You know
that part right there.
Yeah,
but it's preseason though.
You know, yeah, it's preseason. We'll see.
It's preseason,
but they did win. They did win the game. They won the game.
That's a consolation prize.
Absolutely. Then I definitely caught the Chet versus Wemby contest. I'll tell you, the two front runners for Rookie of the Year, Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren. Yeah. Chet definitely played like, Wembanyama, he just looked so, I mean, he was into it, but things just look so easy for this guy. I think
it looks easy.
It everything, shooting, dribbling for a guy his size is just so fascinating to see a guy that tall, do the things that he does on the court. That, you come from a traditional, if you were raised watching basketball in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, big men played in the paint, and it's a totally different game now. You got 7-footers out the top of the key doing step back threes and crossovers between their legs and, taking their man to the hoop. I think Wembanyama, his detriment will be the 82 game the 82 game schedule, which will definitely take a toll on him. But then his body being so tall and so slight, big men don't fare well in the NBA as far as health is concerned. There's always some. Well, number one, him being a light in the ass, but
both of them are though. Him and Holmgren are light in the ass.
Absolutely, but I think, Chet right now is my dark horse for Rookie of the Year, only because he's had a season to soak up the NBA experience, even if he didn't play. He got a firsthand look at the game and little insights on how to play moves, things of that nature. So I think he'll probably have the same issue to an extent that Wembanyama will have, as far as that schedule being what it is.
They're gonna both have to put on weight. They're both gonna have to put on weight and some size, because the positions that they play, they're gonna have to bang, and they're getting banged around down in the post. Even though the game has evolved where 4 and 5 positions flex and stretch out the defense by shooting 3-pointers and running a high set pick and roll, but they're gonna have to get down in that box, and I think that's where they might have to improve on their game, because if they get checked or boxed out, they're gonna have problems dealing with grown men. And because what is Wemb? He's what, 18?
18 or 19? Yeah, he's young.
They're both fairly young. Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting season. Next week we're gonna cover the NBA preview for the upcoming season, so we're gonna touch on that next week. Moving along, we're gonna get into the orphanage. Your boy Bart Scott strikes again, man, and I just caught wind of this, but he has been known to say some boneheaded things on the air. The latest comments that he made was in regards to when Trayvon Diggs was injured, and he made a joke out of it, which I don't think was in good taste. I used to listen to Bart Scott when he first started on ESPN, and he used to fumble his words a lot. He used to say like every other word. He used to be like, well, I think the defense he's straightened that out. But now I think he carries himself in poor taste at times. And for him being a former player, I don't think that was, the wise thing to do. And he's kind of put his job in jeopardy a couple times. Can we pull up the footage of your man Bart Scott?
Injury. A major blow for Dallas. And like Stephen A always says, just wait. Something bad always happens.
No, don't start that. Don't start that.
Let me tell you. No. First of all, I wouldn't do that right now. In all seriousness, RC, This is a season-ending injury, so I'm certainly not going to joke about that with Trayvon Diggs, my brother.
Respect.
I got a lot of.
Well, Micah Parsons heard that, and he responded on Twitter by saying this: WF. He old hating ass, old head, lame as F. This is why I really don't like talking to dudes in the media. As a former player, you are lame as F, bro. Just facts. Joking about a man trying to feed his family and building a legacy. ESPN gotta stop letting cornballs on TV. Now, Michael wasn't the only one upset with this clip,
man.
but other people have gone on to say, hey, this isn't the first time Bart Scott has said something out of pocket, crazy, or just weird.
What's your thoughts on that? Bart is I don't know, man. He's special.
I'm not a fan of Bart Scott on the radio. Mm-hmm. Not really a fan of Bart Scott as an analyst. I like him better as an analyst, like on Get Up or First Take or one of those shows, as opposed to the radio. Because on the radio, man, he is just off the chain. Like there is no filter for this dude. Like I was listening to ESPN one day last week, and I think this dude spent like a good 5 minutes talking about male porn stars and porn stars that people grew up watching and stuff, and that was in response to the story from Tyreek Hill about he wants to be a porn star after he retires from football. And, you know, Bart Scott just ran with it. And you heard Alan Hahn nervously trying to rein Bart Scott in and kind of get off the subject. But, you know, I just always kind of found Bart a little
over the top.
I don't know, corny. Like he's one of those dudes, like if he tells a joke and gets a little chuckle, man, he's going to try and run that joke in the ground and milk every ounce out of it. And, you know, his insight, sometimes he has good insight, and there's times when he just needs to kind of rein it in a little bit. And sometimes you have these former athletes that I think, with the lack of a journalistic background, they opt instead for the shock jock approach. You know, kind of like Rodney Harrison did on Sunday night. He was talking to a defensive player, and he was trying to get the guy to go in on, I forgot who they were playing, but, you know, he was basically trying to bait the guy into saying something bad about the player. And you know, he was like, oh, come on, man, but he's trash, ain't he? You know, you weren't worried about him. And the player was like, no, he was like, you know, he's an NFL player. He was like, you know, we didn't think this was going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. And, you know, that was really some clown stuff that Rodney Harrison did. And it's kind of the same line with Bart Scott. Like, I don't know if they're trying to be cute or trying to have personality or whatever, but there's ways to do things and there's ways to say things without being there's ways to.
I think Bart is just like that, bro. I think that's just him.
He is. He's just you know what, Bart plays too much. That's
just him, man. Bart gets thrown in the orphanage he's in there along with your man Mel Tucker, your man Kevin Porter Jr. They're all in the orphanage, man. So Bart, man, get your act together, bro, before you out of a job over there at ESPN, man.
I'm surprised I'm really surprised he survived those cuts, man.
Definitely.
For real. But that leads me to say that leads me to believe that a lot of those firings were based on what dudes were being paid. Because I can't imagine Bart Scott being one of the higher paid analysts over there at ESPN.
Never know. We might have to look that up. So we're gonna move along from the orphanage and Bart Scott and the gang to reaching the summit. We're just going to run down the games for this past weekend. Georgia beat Kentucky 51-13. So that ends the run for the Kentucky Wildcats. Michigan,
Still ranked though. So
yeah, they number 20, but they got beat. So that ends their unbeaten record. Right. Michigan rocked Minnesota 52-10. Texas got upset in the river game. What do they call that? The Red River game?
Red River rivalry.
Yeah, the Red River rivalry.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma beat them 34-30. So
that was a good game.
We're gonna have to see the standings come out. Ohio State maintained over Maryland 37-17. Florida State won out. USC beat Arizona. Notre Dame takes another L. Alabama maintains their position at number 11, beating Texas A&M. UCLA beats Washington State, which was an upset. North Carolina rocks Syracuse 40-7. I thought Syracuse was going to show up a little bit more. I thought they were going to have a better showing than that. Oregon State beat California 52-40. Ole Miss 27-20 over Arkansas. Georgia Tech upsets Miami 23-20. Mizzou gets beat by LSU 49-39. And Fresno State falls to Wyoming 24-19 in an upset. And Colorado and the Buffaloes have fallen out of the top 25. And that rounds out the summit of games from this week of college football. Any thoughts on these past slate of games for the college football?
No. It's good to see, well, all of the teams in the top 10 undefeated except for Texas, who lost to Oklahoma. So that's understandable that they're still in the top 10. I mean, they lost to a top 5 team. So, but yeah, it's pretty much looking. It's looking how it's expected, I guess, so far right now.
Yeah, man, we got a shout in the chat. When doesn't Stephen A troll? I think he's made a living off of being a troll, man. He trolls all the time. I think he's the biggest troll as far on sports talk. Whether you on the internet, the radio, TV, he's definitely
I think only as it pertains to Dallas. I don't really see him doing the trolling stuff too much outside of. I mean, he goes overboard as it pertains.
Oh yeah, he's the biggest Dallas troll. He's the biggest Dallas troll, yeah, in I think in the world, man. But yeah, that would be interesting. BK Ty's top 5.
Could you fix your tie just a little bit right there? Dan Orlovsky, the back of the tie sticking out, just even out.
You be messing with Orlovsky for what?
I'm just trying to help you out.
Because he's a better analyst than him, so he tried to get at him.
By the way, let me tell y'all.
Molly's fine. God damn.
It's gonna be a nice.
I think the thing with Stephen A is he's a basketball guy, and when you have a show. And he's smart to surround himself with so many NFL people. You have your NFL opinion, and then you let the experts give their points of views, and you can either agree or disagree. He's definitely a basketball guy, and I don't even think he's as plugged in to the NBA as he used to be. But definitely as far as football is concerned, there's not many guys in the league they're not many analysts right now that are up there with Dan Orlovsky as far as the NFL is concerned.
Ryan Clark is up there too. Ryan Clark is definitely on his A game.
Yeah,
and he's very eloquent.
And O's and breaking the game down.
You got to see Ryan Clark when they let him get at the board. He does his thing. So. Rounding out the show, it's been one hell of a ride this week, man. So we're going to round out today's episode of Sports in the City live from the arena with BK Ty's top 5. Take it away, Ty.
Yes, indeed. Today we have the top 5 highest grossing sports movies. And by sports movies, we mean one of the 4 major sports: hockey, baseball, football, basketball, and to include boxing. Now, before we go any further, technically, the actual highest grossing movie that had anything to do with sports is the Cars movie, the animated movie by Pixar. And I think they did 320 mil worldwide. The only reason that one didn't make the list is because it's animated and there are actually no live people in it. So this one is centered on live actors, either actors portraying athletes or athletes that are in movies. So here we go, the top 5 highest grossing sports movies of all time. Coming in at number 5, we just mentioned something about an animated movie. Well, this movie was half animated, and we're talking about Space Jam, not the LeBron James remake, but the one with the original, with the GOAT. That's right. I said it. The GOAT, Michael Jordan, and his co-star, Bugs Bunny. Space Jam, which came out in 1996 and grossed $230 million. Coming in at number 4, Creed 3, starring Michael B. Jordan, grossed estimated 261 mil and counting. And this movie came out just last year in 2022. So it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility that if we revisit this list a year from now, Creed 3 absolutely might be a little higher. Coming in at number 3, we have Show Me the Money with Jerry Maguire at 278 million. This movie came out in 1996, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and what's the guy's name? He does all of these great Mission Impossible movies. And Tom Cruise. That guy is something phenomenal. He played an incredible role in that movie. Jerry Maguire, 278 million in 1996. Show me the money. And
show me the money, Jerry.
Coming in at number 2, we have Rocky 4 at $300 million, which came out in 1985. Rocky 4, for those of you that don't remember, is the one with Ivan Drago, the guy that killed Rocky's best friend, Apollo Creed. Rocky vowed vengeance, even at the objection of his wife, who felt that he was going to Russia to not only get his ass kicked, but he was going to die. She didn't have any faith in him, and Rocky went out there and did his thing. And this makes Rocky 4 the number 2 grossing sports movie of all time, and actually my favorite Rocky movie as well. And coming in at number 1, this movie doubles as a sports movie and also a robbery movie, because coming in at number 1 is The Blind Side at $309 million, which came out in 2009, starring Quentin Aaron as NFL player, Baltimore Ravens offensive lineman Mike Oher, and Sandra Bullock, as Leanne Tui, who everyone assumed was his adopted mother, but they really didn't adopt him. They just filed for conservatorship so that they control his money, because they knew this guy was going out to be a very successful NFL player one day. Like, so there you have it. Number 5, Space Jam. Number 4, Creed 3. Number 3, Jerry Maguire. Number 2, Rocky 4. And coming in at number 1, the highest grossing sports movie of all time at $309 million and counting, is The Blind Side. And that's BK Ty's top 5 for today.
So let me ask you a question. You don't count any of the Fast and Furious? You don't count that
as a sports movie? No.
So race car driving isn't a sport to you?
It is, but I don't know if you remember in the beginning, I preempted this by saying these are my top 5 sports movies that deal with the 4 major sports: football, baseball, basketball, hockey, and or boxing. So that was why Cars didn't make it, which was actually about racing, which is a sport. And I think that movie grossed 320 mil. So that would make Pixar's Cars the highest grossing sports movie of all time. But there were no live actors in the movie. So that was the only thing. That was the only reason I didn't include that on the list.
Because I think a lot of people down south would beg to differ with your partner that race car driving is definitely a sport. All right, man. Good list, bro. Good list, man. Any last thoughts before we get up out of here, man?
Yeah, I want to say to Logic, and my top 5 rappers are Dylon, and Dylon.
Y'all Logic and friends say, yo, cool runnings.
Yes, star.
Yeah, man. Definitely big up to Brooklyn. Definitely big up to sports in the city. Wherever you at, live from the arena, whether you from the East Coast or West Coast, the North or the South, you in that sports bar, man. Hit us up on the chat, man. YouTube Live, Facebook Live.
Don't forget, like, subscribe. Hit the notification button, let you know when we do another podcast, another stream. We appreciate all the support. Shouts out to the iRant Network, the Ranters Union. Big up to Logic. Once again, big up to 757. Shouts out to NYC. Enough love.
Right. Everybody that's hitting us up on the chat, appreciate the love and the support. Thank you, man. We're going to try to make it better every week, man. Sports in the City, live from the arena, man. Big up to you, BK Ty. Any given Sunday, Mills Lane, I feel you. Days of Thunder, Creed. But I think he was saying the most grosser movies.
Mills,
are those your favorites?
Mills. I'm gonna do another top 5 of my favorite sports movies, but the ones that I gave the top 5 for are the movies that have made the most money, sports movies that have made the most money. But yeah, as far as
Fast and Furious,
as far as favorites are concerned, yeah, we didn't even touch.
Okay, definitely. Thanks for tuning in, Mills. Virginia Slim on the check-in. Logic. You know what time it is, man. Let's go.
Salute.
Sports in the City. Thank you, man. Big up.